Okay. Right. We're back. We're back. Right. So we are on, I'm pretty sure we're on defending Elvis Presley. There's a few things I want to do. I was gonna, whoo, God, I need to warm up. Right. First of all, can you hear me okay? Can you hear me okay? Let's get right. So the tracking's off. So, come on, we are having a bit of fun with this camera, aren't we? So whilst I was off, I how can I say it? I just looked at some of the instructions for the camera. So it's not, is it following me at the moment? Come on. So here we go. And then we're going to go, we want it to zoom out. This is all part of the fun, guys. All part of the fun. I'm going to read the instructions properly. But yes, come on. It's a giggle. So firstly, do I sound okay? Is it loud enough? Yeah, it is following me. Right, is it loud enough? That's number one, yeah? Okay, so now, yep, good. Now I'm going to play, we are going to do the Dave Hebler interview, some of it, not all of it. Now, guys, we are gonna, let's have a look. Here we go. Right, let's get you on here. Is it loud? Right. Thank you, Deborah. So, guys, I'm going to put artists on sound on here. So this is where we will be tomorrow night at 10. Artist on record, and it's Stefan. Let's get him up. Let's just play a little bit of our interview that we had. Let's watch it together a little bit.
Get me the...
Right, okay. Right, just a minute. So I just want you to know, guys, Stefan is interviewing Dave Hebler, yeah? So I do want to rewatch Dave Hebler's interview with a couple of other people and do a bit of reviewing and critiquing. Obviously, he is part of the people that wrote this book, yeah? Elvis, What Happened? It was released in 1977. The fans are very upset with Red West, Sonny West, Dave Hebler. They are. This book upset millions of people. Yeah, it exposed some pretty nasty stuff. Some of it that's not true, and in fact, a lot of it that's not true. I don't think the fans have ever forgiven Red West or Sonny West ever. So some people may be a little bit annoyed that Stefan is interviewing Dave, because obviously people are still angry with him. Now, my attitude is slightly different. I definitely 100% believe that what he did was wrong. Yeah. But I also think it's been 50 years, more or less, isn't it? 47 years. How long are we going to punish him for? You know, there has to be a time in when we have to just go, he's an old man now. He's in his 80s. Yeah. You know, he's suffered. That man has spent nearly 50 years of being hated with angry fans. Of course, we love Elvis. We're very angry. We've been very angry and upset with Dave Hebler. I don't think Red West ever properly showed any regret. In fact, if anything, I saw Red West argue with the fans a couple of times when they brought this book up. I remember one person even saying the money that they earned from the book Elvis, What Happened should have gone to charity. Yeah. And he got very upset with that fan. I don't know if any of you have seen that interview. I've played it a few times on here. So look, this is how I feel. This is how I feel, guys. I want Dave Hebler to at least show regret and say sorry. I'm not a Dave Hebler fan. Pat, I agree. Billy Stanley seems nice. And Stefan also told me that him and Billy Stanley are going to do a walk around at Gracelands, and they're going to record it. So my point is, we know Billy, we like Billy, don't we? And he joined us on this show, didn't he? So my point is, I don't support at all the book. I don't support in any way what Dave Hebler did. But I'm a Christian man. We're taught to be forgiving. Forgiving is important. So I can't be part of an old man suffering in his 80s because of a mistake he made 47 years ago. Yeah. So my thing, what I've said to Stefan is, come on, let's try and get him to apologize. Let's try and get him to show regret. Let's try and get him to admit that, you know, they were bitter, they were angry, they wanted money. Let's have a bit of that. Now, Sonny West, I heard that he did show a bit of regret towards the end. Now, when I was listening to Stefan's interview, yeah, he is able to get people to sort of bring out a side to them that is more honest. Like when I was listening to him interview Mike Stone, because I've also told Stefan, let's get Mike Stone to apologize. Let's get Mike Stone to admit wrongdoing. Yeah. You know, the way Mike Stone treated his wife who was pregnant, Frances Stone, is disgusting, isn't it? Yeah. So if he can get Mike Stone, because Mike Stone at one point did say, I've made mistakes. I put myself first. I regret hurting my family. So it wasn't a proper apology. It was a terrible apology. But I do think Stefan, if anyone's going to get anybody to get Dave Hebler to admit that there has been wrongdoing, I think Stefan has quite a laid back, friendly way about him. He might achieve it. Now remember, Dave Hebler contacted Stefan and wants the interview. So maybe Dave Hebler is trying to make things right. Maybe wants to apologize, wants to show regret. Now, if he's going to go on Stefan's show and just said, oh, I did it to help Elvis. If he's going to do that, he's not going to win us over. If he's going to say, oh, I helped write the book because I was going to try and help Elvis control his, you know, if he's going to talk about Elvis like Elvis was a drug addict and that Dave was trying to get him off drugs, he's not going to win us over. Because we know that the reason Elvis was heavily medicated was because he was so unwell. He was chronically sick. He was a very, very unwell man, Elvis was. Not a drug addict. Now, was he addicted to some of his pain medications and different medications? Of course he was. Everyone is. Any of us here that are on pain medications or on any medications, you end up being addicted to them, don't you? Come on, let's be honest, yeah? So my point is this. If Dave is going to go, look, I wrote the book to help him get off drugs, we're not going to like what Dave Hebler has to say. If Dave Hebler says, do you know what? We were friends. I think they were friends for 5 years, wasn't they? And obviously Red, who, obviously, sorry, every time I raise my hand, it does that. But my point is, let me just get to the point, guys. So my point is this. If he's going to sit there and say, I tried to get him off drugs, that's why I wrote the book, we got a problem. If he's going to go, do you know what? We were friends. Maybe I shouldn't have written the book. Maybe it was the wrong thing to do. Because come on, you don't write a book about your friends. You do not write a book about your friends. I don't care what anyone says. Even if you've fallen out, you do not write a book. What they did was wrong. What they did was wrong. Yeah? All three of them, Red and Sonny. The one that I'm most disappointed with is Red. Because Red went to school with Elvis, to Humes High. I think Red was a year younger or a year older, one or the other, yeah? We know about him saving Elvis from the bullies that were going to cut his hair. I actually think Red and Elvis really hit it off and had a really good friendship. So why he went ahead to write this book, because he was bitter and angry, because he didn't think it was fair the way they'd lost their job, the way Vernon sacked them, when there was a high chance Elvis was going to have them back. Sometimes I think that the reason they quit and went off. Joanne's sending me messages. Hi, Joanne. Joanne, let me check your messages. Because Joanne, you can get on the chat, can't you? Let's have a look. Joanne messaged me. Let's have a look. Joanne, get on the chat. Come on. We're on defending Elvis Presley. You can do this. Let me find Joanne's comment. Right. Joanne, I'm going to read your comments for you. I might have to get another phone. The camera's going to follow me, but let's get another phone so I can try and read Joanne's comments. Okay. Right, Joanne, let's see how that followed me. That's just so funny. It literally makes me laugh. Joanne, I don't understand why it's so hard to admit regret. Now, Joanne, join the chat. Why can't you join the chat? Click on the live button of Defending Elvis Presley and you can join us. Come on, Joanne, you can do this. You managed to get on the diet chat, the Elvis Presley fan on keto chat, so you can get on this one. Here she is. Yay! Joanne, you did it. Joanne, did you see that? I responded to your YouTube comment. So, as I was saying, right, so Joanne has just said they thought they were going to be rich off the book and it was payback for letting them go. Right, you're right. I do think that they thought they were going to make a lot of money. Don't forget that book sold millions and millions of copies. It was the first book that said that Elvis had a problem with his medication. Yeah. Now, some of this book isn't all bad. Actually, some of this book, guys, is actually quite nice about Elvis. Like chapter 2, I'm pretty sure chapter 2, we've read it, haven't we? Chapter 2 is actually pretty good. Chapter 1 is horrible. That's how I remember it. Now, we could read bits. Now, I wonder if I raise my hand, it will let you see the picture. So, should we have a go? Is it going to do it? It seems to, hang on. Here we go. Ta-da! Look at that, it's zooming into it. That is so clever. Let's go further back. Look at that. I love that. But now what? So now what? So if I do that, it's not going to go small again. We're still big. We're still big. Joanne, if you just joined us, we are using a new system, an AI web camera that, it's got its own mind, but we think it's so cute. We haven't given it a name yet. We're going to give it a name. Yeah. We haven't decided what name, but we're going to give it a name. I think for now, should we call it Bob? Look, it's just so funny. Louis, you look like you're being sworn into court. Yeah. It just makes me laugh. Let me see what happens now, guys. I'll do it again, yeah? Let's get another picture up. We'll see what happens. We're testing the new system. Does it zoom in? No, it doesn't zoom in. It didn't zoom in then. Now watch this. Hang on, maybe I've got to show the face. Oh, I don't know. I was doing that and it zoomed in. Woo! Hey, baby. No, it's not. But it doesn't matter because I can show it you here. Look. Okay, as I was saying, let's get back to what we were talking about. So let me just... so this is the plan, guys. Stefan is going to interview. Yeah, it's like that, isn't it? Stefan is going to interview Dave Hebler, and I want us to have a bit of a knowledge about Dave Hebler so that we can discuss it with Stefan. So I'm going to play a bit of our interview that we had with him just to let people know what's going on with Stefan. His YouTube channel is called Artists on Record. So what we're going to do is just play a bit of that. Then we're going to play some of the Dave Hebler interview. Okay, guys? I know it's funny, isn't it? It just, Deborah, it's hilarious. I'm liking it. Yeah. Right. Let's play a bit of Stefan's, our interview with Stefan. Okay, guys?
3, 2, 1. You're on the air with me. I am Stefan Adika, and you are beautiful. If it's your first time here, that's you over there. I see you. What are you doing? What are you doing? Who you looking at? You're looking at me. It's Friday. We are live. My name is Stefan Adiga, and you know what? We're gonna have a fun time right there. Look at that, live with Adiga. We're gonna rant. We're gonna rock. We're gonna roll, and I'm gonna bring you a wonderful guest over here, a character that I had no idea who this guy was, and then he wrote to us on
That's
our
me.
platform, and turns out to be such a sweet guy. He
Yeah, I am
roasted
a
me on
sweet
his channel.
guy.
He reviewed my content. I didn't go hard enough on the questions that I was supposed to do with the person I was interviewing. Who was I interviewing? I was interviewing Priscilla Presley's ex-lover, Mike Stone, who wrote a book. I'm going to share this with you guys really quick, and I'm going to bring my friend in 1 second. Mike Stone, My Time
Looking
with
forward to it.
Priscilla Lisa Marie Presley. It's a book about 4-year relationship that Mike Stone had with Priscilla and along raising Elvis's daughter, the king of rock and roll. And this Mike gets a lot of slack from the Elvis community, but you know what? We all get slack from some community, don't we? It's the way it is. But in the end, you know what? We need
But while
to
it's
be
playing,
kind
I'm
and
going to
love
try
each
and put
other.
it on the
But
TV.
anyway, what I'm going to do with this little prize here, I went on the platform, and right here, when you do on the comments, if you do the wall,
Actually,
the
let me just
comment
turn
wall,
this bit off.
comment wall. In my community, on a couple of other episodes I did with Louis, my buddy from Defending Elvis channel. We're going to talk
Actually,
about
I'll let
him.
it watch me
And he has
go
a
to the
keto
TV.
channel too. I want you to
It's funny.
subscribe if you haven't. We're going to talk about that. But what you're going to do, you the viewer, I'm going to give this book to somebody out there. But there's a catch to it. All you need to do is write. You have to subscribe to the channel, to my channel, and to Louis' channel as well, the keto channel that he has. That's this one, okay? Not that one. That's not Louis. He has a keto diet carnivore channel. It's for your health and for Elvis Presley fans that love him and want more of Louis. Well, if you write subscribe in my comments, and you got to subscribe to both channels. I'm making sense. I'm rambling. I know. That's why it's Friday rant.
You can see me, I'm in.
I'm going to do another live show
That's so
next
funny.
week because I got to get a lot of names, not just 5. I want a lot. And I'm going to go live if Louis will come on the show. We're going to
I'm
pull a
back.
name from the
Camera's
hat so
following
you
me.
know I'm not picking any favorites there because you're all beautiful. And I'm going to send this book to you. To you.
So, guys, let's just pause Stefan there. So, let me just get you guys back up. So the thing, let me just go small again on the camera, so I'm not all, it's all blown in on me. So the thing, let me just make it small again. It is funny though, isn't it, guys? I love it. Literally love it. Guys, come on, admit you love it, yeah? Emily, do you love it? Come on. Tony, we got the new camera system working. Hi, Tony, welcome. It is so hilarious, this camera. It just follows. Tony, it follows me around. Do you want me to show you? Look, watch this. I can walk around the room. I can go over here where it's all messy. Hi, Tony. I can go and stand by the TV. Ta-da! Watch myself on TV. Look, I'm walking away. And then I can come back to you and I can sit down. It's just crazy. Tony, it's crazy, right? I love it. It's the best thing I've ever bought. Yeah, guys, do you like it? It's so hilarious. Oh, that's so funny. It just cracks me up. Anyway, back to serious. So we're discussing Stefan. We're going to go on his channel. We're playing part of our interview that we had with Stefan. Now remember, what night? Friday night, tomorrow night, 10 p.m. We're back on there. Are we all going to be on there? Guys, are we all going to meet me there tomorrow night, 10 p.m. UK time? Are we all going to be there on Stefan's show, Artists on Record? Yeah, who's coming? Who's going to meet us there tomorrow night, 10 o'clock? So, right, okay, I'm going to carry on playing. Let's carry on playing Stefan's show.
To you. And if you don't like Mike Stone, you know what's good about this? If you do win it, send this book to somebody you can't stand. It'll annoy them like I annoyed you with the book. But you're going to win it. You're going to love it. And then I'm going to do a couple more prizes because I think I'm going to have Louis come on my Fridays with me if he wants to. And we'll give away some prizes. I have shirts.
Cool.
If you have vinyl, I'm going to give away slip mat. And then when I get to 20,000 views on Artist on Record, I got this beautiful hard book, right here, hard copy book. It says an edition
He's
right
such a
here.
cool guy.
It's all
Stefan is a cool
Elvis.
guy.
You'll love it. Everything about
So
Elvis.
guys, when I
I'm gonna
talk
mail it
over,
to
can you
I'm
hear
gonna
me?
pick your
When
name
I'm
out of the
talking
hat,
over Stefan,
and I'm
can
gonna
you
give you
hear
this
me?
great, wonderful book. Look at it, it's all nice. But let's start baby steps. Let's start with this first. All righty. So I think next week, if I get a lot of subscribers, names in a hat, I'm going to go next Friday with Louis live, and we're going to pick a winner. Enough talking about me and what I'm giving away. Let's bring my friend up. He's a wonderful guy, and today we are going to talk and defend the name of Elvis Presley, because that's his channel, Defending Elvis.
Defending
This is
Elvis.
part 2
Come
live
on.
with my friend
do
Louis.
this.
Let's welcome him to the show. Let's give him a big... Come on, there he is. There he is. All right, Louis.
Yo, Louis.
Hi, guys from the UK.
There it
Defending
is.
Elvis Presley. Nice to meet you guys. Hi, Stefan.
There you are, my
Who loves
friend.
you, baby? Who loves you, baby?
Who loves you, baby?
Who loves you,
we
baby?
get a little closer here, not so far away, so we're together, like brothers over here. That's
Move the camera
good.
nearer if you want.
Yeah, this is good, right? You're okay?
Yeah.
You're comfortable? I want you to be comfortable.
Yeah. I got the Who Loves You Baby thing going on with the lollipop. I'm a Kojak fan as well.
You know what? You got to bring it back. I think people forgot about Telly Savalas, and I'm here to bring it all back. So
Yeah.
before
He's Greek. He's Greek, don't you?
That's
yeah,
true,
yeah, I
Tony.
know he's Greek. So before we start the show, we're going to do one thing really quick here. The most important thing, besides being an Elvis Presley lover and Team Elvis for the people out there, we got to know who's here. So I'm going to pull up comments as we talk and give everybody a shout out. And thank you all for spending a little Friday with us. After this show ends today, everybody, just to let you know, when this show ends, Louis been reviewing my podcast a little bit. So when this ends in an hour, at 3 p.m. my time, which is whatever time it is by you guys, you're going to click on the next episode because it's going to be premiering. This is the Forcing Elvis
Right,
the
let me
Inside
just
Stories.
pause
This is the
this.
full episode with Mike Stone.
Let me just speak to you guys. So, let me just get. I like to see you guys when I'm talking. So that Divorcing Elvis Inside Story, I've actually watched it. Have any of you watched it? It's the Mike Stone interview that he did. Have any of you watched it? Because I thought it was okay. There was a couple of things in there that Stefan said that I don't agree with, but have any of you watched the bit that he's just now showing us? I'm just asking that. Hi, Ronnie. What we're doing, we're quickly watching Stefan on his show Artists on Record that we were in. And then we're going to talk about Dave Hebler. We're going to play some of Dave Hebler's interview and discuss that as well. Because what it is, Stefan on his YouTube channel, Artists on Record, is going to interview Dave Hebler, obviously one of the people that was involved in the writing of this book. He's going to... So I feel that we should sort of have a better idea about Dave Hebler. Tony, watch it. It's interesting. It's only I think it's only about half an hour long, but so we're just gonna refresh ourselves a bit with Dave Hebler. Okay, so let's carry on playing Stefan.
It's not the full episode because Mike talks about his other stuff, like his other books. But this is everything in this episode. He talks about Elvis. It's going to premiere about 45 minutes on my channel, so you guys could see this uncut. I've been throwing 3 different clips during the week, teasers we call them, to get you interested. And if you think they're good or bad, you'll really think something about this one. So make sure you check on that and give me your comments down below. But make sure you subscribe and write in these comments, sub and comment, because sub and book.
You could win that book. Does anyone actually want the book?
You're going to win this. I wrote it in the
I
description.
think most
Just
of you
follow
don't want the
description,
book.
because next
But
week,
no offense,
Louis, you want to
Stefan,
come with
but
me and
most
pick a
of them
winner?
don't want the book.
Definitely.
Do it. We're going to do it. Okay. So now, before we get all started and we start talking about Elvis, and you and I are going to debate, we're going to fight, and we're going to struggle. But in the end,
All over again.
we're going to hug each other.
You're Rocky.
That's right there. Yo, Adrian. So let's see who's here. Karen, welcome. They're here. Karen's here, and I'm gonna go slowly. So I'm rewinding a little bit.
Guys, you're on this show.
Deborah,
Team
Karen,
Elvis.
Songbird, good to see you. I recognize you. The team, you got a lovely team. Lorna, good to see you. She says, hi, Lewis. Hi, everyone. Emily V. Yeah, that's right. That's right. And let's see. Let's go down here a little bit. You guys, thank you for all the comments. We're going to be posting everybody here. Jane, Elvis Presley. She says, hi to Karen. Hi, Karen. Hi, Jane. Hey, Elizabeth. Hey, Deborah.
Just pausing that quickly. Deborah, all of you, Karen, Elizabeth, I just find it, Deborah, it's just great. I love the fact that Team Elvis all came over and jumped on and supported defending Elvis. Because that is why we were there. It was defending Elvis Presley, and Team Elvis were one thing. And you guys all jumped over. Thank you so much, guys, for supporting defending Elvis Presley. It's just so good. Wherever we go together. Isn't that right, guys? We go together. So now remember how I felt when we did this. This is my first interview I have ever had. Ever. Never, ever. Now, also, how did we get on his show? I went onto Stefan's show, Artist on Record on YouTube. And, of course, as usual, I review somebody else's video, which always gets me in trouble. Let's face it, guys. When I review other people's videos, I get told off, yeah? I've had some flack, haven't I, yeah? But that's part of what we do, yeah? We're here to defend Elvis and Lisa Marie and the bloodline, so we're going to upset people sometimes, just the way it is. So I did message Stefan and say to him, hi, my friend, I will be reviewing your interview with Mike Stone because you said a few things I don't like. So now I wasn't expecting Stefan to even read the comment. Now, so we were discussing and we were doing a review of the Mike Stone interview with Stefan on his show. And then Stefan pops up and says, come on, let's go live. Let's go live. He put me on the spot. I was worried. I was nervous. But I'll be honest with you, I found it very easy, very relaxing. I'm not scared to be interviewed by anybody. So anybody that wants to get me on their show for an interview, I'm up for it. I'm up for it. So I feel I know enough now with Team Elvis, with the research that we've done, to hold my own. I think I can do it. Now, I've still got a lot more to learn. I definitely get things wrong all the time. I'm no expert on Elvis. I need to learn more. But I think I know enough where if I'm in a discussion to do with, the main things like, obviously, Elvis, Priscilla, Dr. Dick, the Memphis Mafia, the books, the different interviews. I think I've got a good understanding of what's gone on. So I do think now, when I'm on these interviews, I think I could probably do some good defending Elvis. But I do like the support of Team Elvis, because I think as one big unit, I think we do a lot of good for Elvis and Lisa. Okay, let's keep going, guys.
Emily Songbird. I'm just going through here really quick. And if you have questions, Team Elvis is all here. If anybody has questions for Louis or for me, or if you want to roast me and tell me if I did something wrong with the Mike Stone, I'm not going to hate you. I want your opinion. I want you to go after me, and I'll post it up here, and I'm all good with it. Okay. I appreciate you all being here. So it's all great. Great to see you guys here. So anyway, in the meantime, Louis, I put some pictures here as well that I went to Graceland. But before we get started, also, I got to do you a solid over here. You have a keto channel, and I want people to check it out. So tell us about this Elvis Presley fan on keto diet carnivore channel. Tell us about this.
We save lives.
Story short, 18 months ago, I was very unwell. I had pre-diabetes. I had ulcerative colitis, which is a horrible stomach condition. I had very severe dizzy spells. I had very high blood pressure, high blood sugars.
True, guys.
And I was in a lot of achy pain, and I had no energy. So I searched around. I found someone called Dr. Ken Berry, who's on YouTube, and he introduced me to the carnivore diet, the keto diet. I never thought it was going to work. I was very skeptical. I thought all of it was rubbish. I did it within a month. I reversed, my pre-diabetes went away, my blood pressure went back to normal, I lost my tummy, and my energy levels returned like I was a 25-year-old man. I am 57 years old, and my dizzy spell stopped. And I had to stop
True story.
sugar,
True
pasta,
story.
rice, and potatoes. I had to stop pizzas, donuts, Doritos, and just stick to fatty meat, eggs.
Okay, right. So I don't want to talk too much about. I don't want to talk too much about the diet because that is for the other channel. The Elvis Presley Fan on Keto is where we talk about the diet as well as Elvis and light-hearted stuff. We also read the books over there eventually when I get around to it. So now let's go over to the Dave Hebler interview. Now I can tell that the guy who was interviewing Dave Hebler was very nervous to interview him. Yeah. I can tell that he is trying. I've just waved my hand in the air then, but I can tell the guy. Let's just get it up a minute. Let me just get it back. Okay. I need to stop. It's when it sees my hand to the left. I've noticed when I do that, it zooms in, but it won't do it. It only does it when I'm not paying attention. So anyway, my point. Let me just get that off the screen. My point is, Deborah, I know Louis has to let Linda know when I'm live. I don't know if he's remote. No, I've told Linda. I have told Linda, guys. So let's get the Dave Hebler interview up. So let me just get it up. Okay. So I've got it. I think we had it up here already lined up, I think. Right, here we go. Let's watch this, guys.
3764, Elvis Presley Boulevard. Hit it, Elvis. You got it.
Right, jump forward a bit.
He would say, be fair. After much consideration, we decided to have a conversation with Mr. Hebler. I knew that if any of my questions were ever going to be answered, I wanted to hear it from him and not hear it secondhand from someone who wasn't there. So after 47...
So, as I was just saying, guys, I can tell this gentleman was very nervous about interviewing Dave Hebler. And I would say even considered not doing it because he knows just how unhappy the Elvis fans are. I think this gentleman was actually worried that he might get a backlash or he might get told off. Maybe he might be told that he's not an Elvis fan. So I think he was quite wary of doing this interview, but in the end they chose to go ahead with doing it and to try and do it as politely as possible in a way that Elvis would be happy. So now, would Elvis be happy, this gentleman interviewing Dave Hebler? I don't know, guys. Don't know.
7 years I read the book so that I could be prepared for our conversation. Michael and I place a great deal of emphasis on being professional and being respectful. We have strict criteria for our videos. After they are complete, we ask one simple question: would Elvis be happy with our work? Please understand, it was not our intention to defend Mr. Hebler, nor was it ever our intention to attack him. I gave a tremendous amount of thought on how to approach Mr. Hebler during our conversation, so I asked myself this question: how would Elvis want me to approach it? Knowing full well how compassionate Elvis was, I truly believe he would say, be fair and be respectful. So for ease of viewing, we've broken the video into 6 sections. They are Memories at the Memphian, the book, Dave's early life, his introduction to Elvis, being on tour with Elvis, and Elvis off stage. Please enjoy the video.
So guys, I'll just listen a bit now, but if I want to hear that when he starts talking about the book and Elvis, yeah? I don't know where that is. This is a very long interview, so we're going to jump forward a few times, okay?
Mr. Hebler, thank you so much for joining us here today. We can't thank you enough. We really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. I'm glad to be here.
The opportunity to speak with you. So we're at one of the places that was your guys' stomping grounds back in the 70s. And
yeah, right here.
Right here at the Memphian Theater. So here we sat on the stage, and they were telling us when we came in, I kind of thought that was the beginning, or that would have been like the front row, but he's telling me the front row was back there.
Yeah.
So they built the stage way out.
Yeah, we're sitting right where Elvis used to sit, where his chair was. Right now, this is where it was.
Wow.
You walk in that door, or walk right to his.
So we didn't get a chance. I wanted desperately to, but it's so hot outside, but I wanted desperately to have you show us, where you guys would park and how you would come in. But you say it was on this, you would park over on this side
Yeah,
of the building?
mostly there. Sometimes they came in the front door.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. How many, let me ask you this. What was, so you're at Graceland, was it something that was planned out, or was it more Elvis's style to be spur of the moment? Like, hey guys, let's go to the movies. How did it usually go down?
I think a more spur of the moment than anything, but the thing that I think is so important about the Memphian and Elvis's life is that this really was his sanctuary.
Okay.
He came here with his guys,
Right.
without any outside distractions. Nobody jumping and clamoring for autographs or anything like that. So this was his refuge.
So
Really?
when you say that, so it was a place where he felt protected, which is good, and he got to do something he enjoyed. My question is, when you got here, there probably weren't fans here waiting because they didn't know you were coming, but when you left, there were probably a lot of fans out there.
Same thing. We just bored on through them.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would, typically you were here in the middle of the night, right?
Yeah, we used to come here about midnight, 1 o'clock, something like that.
And Elvis, so tell me a little bit about I know there's rules, right? So when you came to the theater with Elvis, right, he had his seat.
So let's just hear what he's got to say. Now, it's very light-hearted at first. He hasn't said anything serious yet. Let's just keep going.
Right?
Yes.
And what were the rules as far as you didn't sit beside him or
You didn't sit beside him, and you didn't sit in front of him, and you didn't bring no strangers in there either.
Okay. So you couldn't bring a friend if you wanted. You were
Yeah, I could bring a friend.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What was your favorite memory? There's probably a lot of them, but what was your favorite memory of coming here with Elvis and the guys?
Oh, it's something I did. Actually, it's my favorite memory. I jumped in the limo. I went over to Crystal Burger. I ordered 50 Crystal Burgers, 50 sausage burgers, whole bunch of fries, bunch of gooey shakes and stuff. Packed it all up, paid the bill, and then tipped the 4 waiters $100 a piece.
Wow.
They loved me.
I bet you. They liked.
And Elvis loved his Crystal Burgers. He would go to Crystals, wouldn't he? We know about Crystals.
They liked when it was moving.
They liked me right then. Yeah, right then and there.
Right.
Yeah.
So we talked about the rules, and then just briefly a little bit about how many guys that when you guys would come over. Would it be a group of 10, 12, 20? How many
Oh,
usually?
it varied, actually. I don't know if I could quantify that, it all depended. Like, for instance, I lived in California.
Okay.
So when we were not on tour, I would go home, for a couple of weeks or whatever. So I wasn't here,
Okay.
half the time.
Okay.
And same with the other guys. 2 guys would basically be on duty, and the other 2 guys would be home.
Right. Okay. Mr. Hebler, I want to thank you for inviting us to interview you. That was very kind of you to ask us to come in and speak with you. As I'm sure you know, anytime you talk to anybody, they want to know about the book. They want to talk about the book. You have so graciously offered to explain your point of view. And I want to say before we start that, I want to say that we're not here to defend you because you're a grown man. You can defend yourself. You're a 10th degree black belt, right? So you know how to defend yourself. Our job was to, Michael and I do a lot of interviews. We do a lot of Elvis related stuff. And our job is to give people a platform to say what they want to say, to basically share their thoughts about it. And I thought that, Michael and I are very fair people, and we think that everybody should have a chance to speak their part and to say.
Yeah, so I think I understand what this gentleman's saying, but the truth is we want to hear Dave's version of how he saw things from his point of view, what led them to write in that book that upset every fan in the world, didn't it? This book upset all of the fans. Yeah. He's being a perfect gentleman here, isn't he? But I think this Dave Hebler has had 47 years of hate. So he's going to be defensive. He's going to be probably quite nervous, quite scared to say certain things. I did notice Denise put a comment in about there's people that used to be on this show that aren't on here anymore. And, you know, we've had a complicated time in the last few months. You know, this show isn't for everyone. Remember, Defending Elvis Presley has its own style. We cover some pretty tough topics. Some of these topics upset people. We lose people. People come, people go. I only block people that are rude to me. So I definitely have blocked some rude people. I would say about 8 people that have been very rude to me. So there are some gone now, guys, that are quite rude. But, you know, on a YouTube channel, I expect people to come and go. You know, we're not for everyone, guys. We're not for everyone. So, but, you know, let's concentrate on the people that have shown loyalty, that are still here with us. Okay, guys?
Say what they feel that they need to say. So I was so glad that when we got this interview that's what we're going to be able to do, is give you the opportunity to answer some questions. And what I really liked about it is in the pre-interview, you said no questions were off the table, and I appreciate that, because
no questions off the table.
You've been very kind with this. So
did you hear that? He just said no questions are off the table.
With that, I'll tell you a little bit about, you know, your perspective about the book from working for Elvis, have been Elvis's friend. And I'm sure you've heard a lot of fans give you their point of view about the book. What I will say about where I stood with the book is a couple of things. One, and we discussed this in the pre-interview, where I said that as with a lot of fans, it hurt me as a fan, because I was young at the time, and the fact is I never read the book. Okay, I read it for this interview because I wanted to do my research. I didn't want to come in here blind and be you know, I'm never going to be accusatory of you, because I don't think that's not my position. I wanted to come in here knowing what was in the book, to be able to discuss the book with you. I think a lot of times comments are made about things where people don't do their research, but they're willing to make the comment. So we did it a little bit differently. I did my research, and then we're going to discuss the book. I'm sure you know about this. I was one of the millions of fans. I don't know if there were millions of fans that did this, but I was one of the fans that actually went to the local bookstore.
So obviously Teresa has just commented saying there is no friends, don't write a book about you. Guys, I am completely against that book. I want you to know this. That book should never have been written. And Teresa, I agree with you.
And would glue the page. You've heard that story where it glued the pages together so that people couldn't read it. Because, again, you have to understand from the fan standpoint, and this is a point that I would like to make, is that when I heard bad things about Elvis that I hadn't heard before, whether it came from the book or whether it came from anybody, it's a hurtful thing, because that's your hero. And you look at it from my standpoint. I was a young kid at the time when he died, and
so look, we can see what he's going to say. He's basically saying Elvis was my hero, and then we heard hurtful things. We heard, you know, he says he read the book. And so from the point of view of a fan back in 1977, he was upset with all 3 of them, Red West, Sonny West, Dave Hebler, upset that the book was doing so much damage, because this book went around the world, yeah, in all the tabloids and magazines, and Elvis was humiliated. Elvis felt he couldn't believe that his friends had let him down so much, you know?
It was hurtful from the standpoint of, I've used this analogy with Michael when we discussed this, is that when you hear something hurtful, it's almost like somebody is telling you, you know, Superman can't fly. Superman, you know, he's not as good as you think. And I think that's what hit hard for me. That's what hurt me, is that the guy was a hero to me. He helped me in so many ways in my life because I was raised alone by my mom. And I learned a lot of things from him. I learned how to treat people. I learned how to talk to people.
So true.
I learned how to be fair, because I just learned a lot of things from Elvis. So that's
now, obviously, we're going to have to do this in more than one section, but what he's saying now is so true. I learned a lot of things from Elvis. I'm the same guy. When I was 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I learned how to be charming and friendly and well-mannered, polite, kind, generous, loving, you name it, whatever emotion you think of. I learnt it from watching Elvis in so many different ways, not just watching him singing and performing, also watching his movies. As a young kid, I really got a sense of Elvis's personality, his charm, you know, that glint in his eye, that smile that he had, the kindness that he showed everyone, how nice and kind he was to children. So Elvis affected so many of us, at so many of our childhoods, and this is what he's saying. He's saying Elvis changed me in so many good ways.
I just wanted to make sure that you're aware. And I think that I don't like to speak for people, but I think I kind of do in this situation. I think I speak for a lot of fans where I think that they were just hurt by the book. So with that being cleared up, I want to
So I
ask
like
you a few
that.
questions.
Let me just pause that. He says, I want to speak on behalf of the fans. I think they were hurt by the book. Hurt by the book.
If that's okay.
Okay.
So to start this off, let's set the stage for how the book came about. So it's July 5th. You guys, 1976, you guys are wrapping up a tour right here to Mid-South Coliseum, which would, unbeknownst to you probably, would be your final show with Elvis, because after that it was July 13th when you were called to Graceland. Did you have any idea what was coming, or did you just receive the call and you were told to report to Graceland?
You know, as far as the firing is
Yes, sir.
concerned,
Yes, sir.
no, really, we didn't have any clue that was happening.
Okay. So you guys were on tour. You finished up here in Memphis on July 5th, and then you were off. And you said you were at the hotel, correct?
Yeah, I was at the hotel here.
And you got a call to report to Graceland. So can you just share a little bit about? So you didn't know why you were going there, and you got there. And can you just share with us about that?
No, actually, I didn't get a call. I went to Graceland.
Okay.
And I was sitting in the kitchen table, you know, the bar, they're having a cup of coffee. And Vernon came over the intercom.
I'm just going to make a tea,
and he
guys.
said, hey, Dave, come on over here. I need to talk to you in the office. I said, okay. So I went over there, and he said, you know, we've been basically, he said, we're having all kinds of financial difficulty, and we're going to have to cut down on expenses and let a few people go, and unfortunately, you're one of them.
So you enjoyed it. You got a nice time, yeah?
How did that strike you right at that point? I mean,
BS.
okay.
What time did you end up getting in bed?
Now, when you say BS, give me a little bit of texture to that. What made you think that was?
Oh, it is crap. Are you kidding? We knew better than that.
Right.
Oh, I knew better than that.
Okay.
And but the details of the firing, which is really got us going. I mean, 2 days' notice, 1 week's pay, and we're out in the street with no way to provide for our family.
Right.
How would you feel?
I agree.
All right. I felt a number of things, not the least of was totally pissed off, to be perfectly honest with you.
Okay.
And the man took off in the dead of night, right? Mm-hmm. Had his father do the evil deed for him. Did I leave town the dead of night and have my father fire him? Put him out in the street? No way to feed for his family? No, I didn't do that. He did that to me. And what did I do to get fired? Did he ever think he was my employer? Shouldn't he, if he had an issue with me, I said, have a little sit down with me and say, Dave, you know, whatever.
Sounds like a little exciting adventure to me.
Isn't that what an employer and an employee do? But he ran away. What he did, and let somebody else handle that. And that was the point, my point. You hired me to my face. Fire me to my face. That's it.
So tell me a little bit about the story at that point. Based on what you just said there, you went to where he was, right? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I called my wife, told her what happened, and she was understandably upset.
They do breakfast there, don't they?
When I say I called my wife and my family, which included her little sister, her daughter, and my two daughters, all of whom were teenagers, and me. And that was the family. Wasn't anybody. She said, you go track them down. Okay? So, the next morning, I was in Las Vegas at the MGM Hotel, and I borrowed a car from security and let me have. Drove over to the gated community where Dr. Gannon's house was. Blew on through the security at the gate. Got to the house and went into the house, and I had a gun on, you know. And I was licensed to carry, actually. And walked in, and the guys there all of a sudden, had half a heart attack. And I explained to them, I'm not here to do anybody any harm. Okay, I'm not going to hurt nobody. I'm here because the man hired me to my face, and he needs to fire me to my face. That's what I want him to do. And he was upstairs, asleep. And I waited, and I waited, and I waited.
Can I just say, obviously, this is a touchy moment, isn't it, guys? I personally, is it just me, or does he look angry? Does he look, I can tell he's choosing his words carefully. He's keeping himself calm. I think when this was happening, he was going crazy. I think he was banging on the door, demanding that Elvis would speak to him. That's what I think, guys. You tell me, what do you think of Dave's body language here? And I just want to say, in case Dave watches this, Dave, I don't hate you. I don't hate you. But I do think that the fans are hoping that you can show regret rather than being quite stubborn and standing your ground. I do think the fans do expect you to be able to look back into the past, especially this moment you're talking about, and say, I lost my temper, maybe I overreacted, Elvis was a friend, Elvis had been good to me in so many ways. This behavior was unfair to Elvis. I think the fans want that from you, Dave. I don't hate you, but you've had enough pain. You've had 47 years of hate because of that book. You're in your 80s. I think it's time people started to forgive you. They won't forget what you did, but come on, guys, all of us have got forgiveness and kindness in our heart. We have to learn to move on from this. It doesn't mean that we agree with what happened. We're still very against the book. We still are angry that this book was written. But anyway, guys, you guys tell me what you think of his body language. Does he come across being arrogant? Does he come across like he regrets it? This is the questions I have for Team Elvis.
And finally, Gannon came home, and he almost had a heart attack, when he saw me, and I told him the same story. And he said, well, I'll tell him, whatever, but he's not going to sue you, whatever. And I said, fine, I made my point, and that's basically it. Basically, Elvis was upstairs on the Dr. Ganem famous diet plan. And remind me later to tell you about that diet plan, okay? And you get an idea what Dr. Ganem was all like. So anyhow, I left the house, drove back over to the MGM, gave back the car, got on a plane, went home. That was it.
Fast forward a little bit. So you're fired July 13th of 76. How fast after that firing in July did the idea for the book come about?
We actually, it took a little while. I'm not sure how long it was, but we talked about it, and
Guys, it's following me around.
and the reason for the firing was
Guys, that is just hilarious that the camera followed me to make my cup of tea. Anyway, let me quickly read your comments. That just makes me laugh. So I asked you if you feel that he's shows any regret, what his body language is like, does he look angry, etc. Obviously, we're watching this interview. This is part one. We're watching it because we will be chatting with Stefan, artist on record, on his YouTube channel about Dave Hebler, because Stefan is about to interview Dave Hebler very soon. Yeah, so we think that we should refresh ourselves. Yeah, so let me just let's just shrink the camera back down again. Okay, right. So let me read your comments. Okay, guys. Right. It says, let's go back to the first one. So Teresa doesn't like him. That's very clear. I think, unfortunately, a lot of the fans don't like him. Vernon was in charge of all the staff, so he does the firing. That's Tony. Teresa has a good point. She says he could have looked for another job. Now, Dave Hebler does give the impression of, we lost our jobs, we couldn't feed our families. Yeah? I don't believe that. Not for a second. I don't believe for a second that because they lost their jobs, they couldn't get another job. They were very, very employable people. Very, very employable. If anything, because they worked for Elvis, they had more chance of getting a job. They were at a high level of security. And some of these guys had bit roles on different movies, hadn't they, guys? And, in the 60s. But obviously, they had a lot of experience with being bodyguards for very famous celebrities, whether it be in concert, on the road. They could have got a job, guys. They could have got a job. And there's no way that Elvis didn't give them a nice bit of money. It wasn't like Elvis said, bye, see ya. He still looked after them. They didn't give Elvis a chance to make amends. This is the problem, I think. They didn't give him a chance. They didn't give Elvis a chance to calm down, change his mind. They were like, aha, this is an opportunity to write a book, make some big money, get revenge. I think they were bitter. I don't believe this thing where they thought the book was going to help him get off his medication. I don't believe it. I just think it's rubbish. Yeah. Now, they must have known how unwell he was. Remember, Elvis was very, very unwell. Like, proper sick. They're not blind. I know that Elvis was a proud man, kept many of his illnesses to himself. But, anyway, let's keep reading. So we've got... So anyway, my point is this excuse that Elvis had made them have no money to feed their families is bullshit. Right. So Debbie says, elderly or not, it's still nasty. No, I agree. Debbie, I agree. What they did was still nasty. Yeah. And it annoys me if they don't show regret and say sorry. But as a forgiving man, as a Christian man, we got to forgive, guys. We can't just, I don't think it's right that we just hate on people. I don't think it's right. I really think we have to be kind. We have to be kind. Even people that make mistakes, we have to be kind to them. So, you know, not all of you are Christians. Some of you have got different ways. We've got to let these guys off the hook. You know, how long are we going to make them suffer for? I know Dave Hebler is one of the few living members. I'm also have strong opinions about Mike Stone as well. Obviously, he's still alive. You know, how far are we going to push it as fans? You know, so I hope I don't upset people, but I do think that when people are in their 80s and they've made serious mistakes in their life, you know, don't forget we're talking about writing a book here, aren't we? Yeah. I do think. Do you understand what I'm saying to you, guys? Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Caroline has just messaged. Let me tell Caroline we're live. We're live now. Caroline, we're live. Come and join us. Okay, Caroline, are you on? So anyway, you get the idea, guys. I'm completely against the book. The book should never have been written. The book was a horrible mistake. It was a betrayal to Elvis. I get it. I'm completely on board with that. How old's he? How old is Dave Hebler? He's in his 80s, isn't he, guys? So you guys say, I feel he expected a big severance pay to carry him through life as he was still employed by Elvis. Yes, Deborah, I do think they all expected that, but why? Why do they deserve a massive severance pay? I think it wasn't Dave only with him for up to 5 years. Obviously, Red and Sonny were with Elvis longer, but they did so well from Elvis. Elvis literally threw money at them for decades. So they were I still repeat it, they were very employable, very. Jean says disturbing. Denise says we will forgive, but we won't forget. Yeah, I don't expect people to forget. Definitely not. Teresa says he's a very angry man. He does seem angry. He does. Stubborn. I would say stubborn is a good word. Pat, absolutely no. He doesn't regret it. Pat, it seems that way. It does seem like he doesn't regret it. It does seem like he is trying to stick to this thing where he thinks they were trying to help Elvis. I'm not falling for it, because helping Elvis means don't write the book. Helping Elvis means don't get commission on the sales of the book. Yeah, don't forget this also turned them into minor celebrities. They were doing interviews around the world. Yeah. So please, they were upset. They should have wrote the book about Priscilla taking Elvis's money. Joanne, that's a good idea. Why the only book really that speaks against Priscilla really is Child Bride, isn't it? Suzanne Finstad's Child Bride. And the problem with that is that it also says negative things about Elvis. So it's a funny one, because obviously we see a different side of Priscilla in the book Child Bride. But then it goes on to make Elvis out in a bad way as well. So even the book Child Bride is disappointing, guys. I do think Sonny and Red had regrets, and I think Dave was the ringleader in the book deal. Right, I don't know about that. That is interesting. That is a very interesting point, Deborah. Whose idea was it to write the book? Was it Red? Was it Sonny? Or was it Dave? Was there an outside person? Teresa said it's all about money. Lorna says they show no regret. Tony says still wants to demand Elvis. I can't read that word, Tony. Still terrible. No regret at all. He is still upset about being fired. I agree. Tony, I agree. He does seem like he's still upset. He does. I have to agree with that, because it's all written all over his face, isn't it, guys? Yeah, Joanne says it. Elvis was a free ride for all of them. I agree. So many people Elvis was so kind to them, people that work for Elvis. We know that Elvis would buy them cars, motorbikes, and horses, and homes, and pay for all their living expenses, buy their wives fur coats, etc. Elvis, and give them the best life ever. Elvis took them on holidays, on all the movie sets. Took them. Elvis had a very adventurous, fun life, and they were part of it. Obviously, they mixed with the celebrities. They were mixing with the best celebrities in the world. Everyone wanted to be near Elvis, and these guys had a front row seat. I just think, with Dave Hebler, obviously he was into the martial arts, yeah? So Elvis would have been, just... I think it would have bothered Elvis a lot that the fact that Dave comes from the martial arts world and double-crossed him, yeah? We know that Elvis was upset about that book. We know. I think Linda put it in her book. I don't think Ginger has said much about it, but Linda has mentioned it. But 100% Elvis was upset when that book was written. Very, very upset. So Deborah, I forgive, but I won't forget. Tony, we need to forgive. I agree. We forgive, but we don't forget. Yeah. We're still very against the book. I won't read the negative parts of this book now. I have read some of it. The negative parts I won't read. They're just too cruel, but I will read the nice bits. The nice bits in this book I will read. Okay. Not today though. Louis, did they care about Elvis when they wrote the book, and still today they have no regrets? Well, Pat, unfortunately, Red West and Sonny are both dead. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. I do think Red West and Sonny spent their whole lives secretly regretting it and feeling ashamed that they wrote it. I also think that they got a lot of hate, Red and Sonny. Yeah. I don't wish that on anyone, but they did ask for it. They made a massive mistake. They made a massive, almost unforgivable mistake for many fans. Many fans will never forgive Red, Sonny, or Dave. Yeah. So because Stefan at Artist on Record is going to interview Dave Hebler very soon, we're going to be involved in that process where he's allowing us to ask questions. He's allowing Team Elvis to ask questions. I think we have to refresh ourselves on this. So Deborah, but when you get burnt, you don't go back for more. Sandra, Hebler has and will never change. He'll remain the same till the day he dies. Then he'll have to answer to the Lord. I think you're right. You could be right, Sandra. So Ronnie, I wonder why Red was not at the press conference with Sonny and Dave. That's a good question. I never thought of that. We've all seen the press conference. It's on YouTube, guys. If anyone's not seen it, go and check it out. It is quite interesting. It's very passionate, emotional. Debbie, and they're still raking money from him. Yeah. It's true though, isn't it, guys? All the people connected to Elvis are still making money from him. All of them, everyone. Now, I don't mind people making money from Elvis if it's in a good way. If it's in a good way to show how great he is. Like we here defending Elvis, we are always trying to help Elvis clear his the reputation that was damaged by bad people, people unfairly portraying Elvis, aren't we? So we're always trying to big up Elvis, big him up. Now, if people want to write good things and say the nice things about Elvis, show how kind and loving and generous he was, what a good man he was, what a decent man he was, great. But if they're going to just take advantage of him, make him look bad for money, I don't like that. So, Deborah, I have no respect for Dave, and I'm sorry if it offends anyone. Yeah, so I'm not using the word respect here. I'm not trying to say I respect Dave. I don't. Yeah, it's not about respect. This is about, I like to think that because I'm a Christian man, I like to think I have a good heart. I like to think I'm a kind person, so that side of me wants to forgive. It's not about respect with me. Yeah. Obviously, he lost my respect when he wrote the book. Yeah. So do you get what I'm saying? Tried reading that book and had to stop. Maybe so sick. Yeah. Carolyn, you've got the message. So chapter 1 was horrible. Chapter 1 was horrible. I've only read, I think, 3 chapters. I did listen to some of the audio chapters. You know, like when I walk the dogs, I put it on audio, and I think I've listened to a few more chapters. So, yes, Tony. Deborah, I agree. I wish he would show some regret. We want that. And we're hoping for that on Stefan's interview on Artists on Records on his YouTube channel. Sandra, Tony says, true, sad, but true. The good old saying, don't bite the hand that feeds you. They all did that and still do today. That is 100% true. That is Emily. Great comment, Emily. Everyone's agreeing with you. I can see that. Lisa called all of them leeches, just bleeding her father dry. 100% we know that Lisa wanted nothing to do with any of the Memphis Mafia. And all of the book writers, the people that wrote the horrible books, Lisa didn't speak to any of them ever. Sonny's niece said that Sonny lived with regrets. Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, I heard that Sonny was the one who regretted it, but it doesn't take away the fact it happened, does it? Unfortunately, none of them apologized to the family, to Lisa. Lisa deserved an apology. I would never forgive any of them. Teresa, I agree. I understand how you feel. Me too, Louis. Forgive, but not forget. It's a hard thing to do. It's a fine line, yes. It's a very fine line. It'd be very interesting to see what kind of interview Stefan does. Because if it's going to be the same as this one, well, this one, the more you listen to it, the more disappointing it gets, I think. So I wonder if Stefan's interview will be very disappointing. I hope Stefan understands the story as well. I hope Stefan understands, I think through meeting us and Team Elvis, and me, we've tried, and I've had some good chats with Stefan. I hope he understands the whole story from Elvis's point of view. So let's play a little bit more, but then I got to go, guys. I got about another 10 minutes.
Because we interfered with, the people who were bringing in the drugs, right? And they went whining and crying to Elvis, about how we bullied them and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, we did, and we failed. Didn't work. So then we decided.
So it's funny, he talks about the guys that were bringing in the drugs, and we heard about this, that Sonny and Red and Dave had been very heavy-handed. I think, didn't they break one of the dealers' ankles? Yeah. But I've read that these guys were taking the street drugs. Yeah. So Sonny and Dave, I've read, were on the street drugs. Is that true? Maybe not Dave. Hang on, let me re-say that. No, not Dave. Forget Dave. I've heard that Sonny was on street drugs. Is that true? Sonny was on street drugs? I don't think Dave was. But was Sonny? Please answer, guys.
That we would try one more time and go public. Our thinking being, is if we went public, he wouldn't be able to ignore it. And maybe, just maybe, he would realize what he was doing, not only to himself, but everybody around him, and seek out the kind of professional help that he actually needed to have.
Now, guys, this bit is so important, yeah? So those few words that he's just said, yeah? We need to discuss this a little bit. So this has been the excuse for the last 48 years, yeah? We know about the conversation that Elvis had with Red West, yeah? You can get it on YouTube. It's all there. Elvis was very kind, very forgiving, even offered help. Yeah. Not angry at all. Elvis didn't know he was being recorded by Red West. So we know that Elvis was just lovely right till the end. Yeah. But, you know, even he said, you do what you got to do. Yeah. A lack of communication, all that kind of stuff. But this is the sentence that has been used as the excuse by Red West, Sonny West, and Dave Hebler for the last 8 years. Yeah. That we did this to get Elvis off the drugs. We did this to get Elvis off the pills. And this is the bit that angers the fans. Because the fans ain't falling for it. Yeah? They did it for money. They did it because they were angry. They did it to get back, for revenge. They were bitter. This is the real reason, but I would say the ultimate reason was they thought they were going to get a lot of money. I really believe that. Dave, if you're watching my show, you did it for money. You were angry. You were upset. It's clearly obvious in your body language that you are still a bit angry. Yeah. I think quite stubborn as well. I think the fans would respect you more if you just calmed down and admitted wrongdoing. Admitted you don't write a book about your friend. This book that was written with Sonny West, Red West, this is written about a man that was so kind to you, that was your friend, that respected you. Yeah. And this made Elvis out to be a druggie. Now, remember, this book is really the first proper book that came out with this information from their point of view about Elvis's taking prescribed medication. What the book doesn't say is that Elvis was seriously unwell and had been unwell for years. Elvis started to get even more unwell in his 30s. Now, he was unwell as a child, yeah? He's always a bit unwell. Elvis, there's a possibility that he inherited some genetic problems from Gladys, from his grandparents, but also from his father. Because don't forget, Vernon, we've just posted a video. Vernon had a bad heart for years. So Elvis could have also inherited that. We know that Elvis had problems with everything. His joints, his heart, his lungs, his liver, his glaucoma, his colon. Everything was a mess with Elvis. So he definitely needed his medication. So the thing that Dave never says, and this is what always surprises me, guys. The thing that Dave never says is Elvis was unwell. He was a very sick man. He was in a lot of pain. He was in a lot of discomfort. He turned to his doctors because he was desperate. Elvis felt like he was going to die. This is never said. The way that Dave says it is in a way as if Elvis wanted to get high, get stoned, get off his face. I'll thank Pat. Thank you very much, Pat. It's very kind. Pat's bought me a coffee. Anyone that wants to buy me a coffee, it really does mean a lot to me, guys, because it just shows me you like what I'm doing. So thank you very much for getting me a coffee or hitting the super thank you or hitting the thanks button. It's very, very kind. Thank you. So my point is this, guys. All three of the Memphis Mafia guys, Red West, Sonny West, Dave Hebler, all three of them, yeah, made Elvis out to be some kind of street addict who wanted to get high and stoned off his face. He wasn't that. Elvis was not that. I think Sonny might have been, yeah. Elvis was a very sick man, a very unwell man, a desperate man who needed help. He turned to his doctors, his pharmacists, his nurses. Elvis had had personal nurses for years. He was so unwell. Elvis couldn't believe how much his body was letting him down. Elvis was like, what is going on? I'm in my 30s and I'm falling apart. He didn't understand it. He couldn't sleep. He had the worst insomnia you could imagine. Then he would need something to wake him up because he had to go and perform or go and make a film. Yeah. And he needed energy, so he was on it for his performances. 2-3 performances a day in Vegas. Yeah, sometimes. Then after a show, he would want to relax. He couldn't sleep, so he would take sedatives to relax. And on top of all of that, he was on all this different medication He was on all the different medication to ease his pain. Of course, you get addicted to painkillers. What would we do here, guys? If we needed to sleep, what would we do? If we couldn't sleep and were working the kind of work ethic that Elvis had. Remember, Elvis was a workaholic. Yeah? So he needed his sleep. Elvis needed his sleep. What do you do when you are famous, one of the most famous men on the planet? What do? You want to sleep. You take a sleeping tablet. Sleeping tablets are very normal. There's nothing unusual about taking a sleeping tablet. Nothing. Yeah. So a desperate man just wanted to sleep so he had energy, so he could get rest, so he could go and perform. Yeah. A man who was very sick with high blood pressure and so many different problems. Yeah. So you understand, you get the idea, guys. Elvis needed his medication. So when Dave Hebler says, oh, we were trying to get him off the drugs. Well, how about Elvis needed the medication because he was very sick. So he couldn't come off them if he wanted to. Elvis was desperate. He wanted to get through each day. And these prescribed medications got him through the day. Elvis wasn't aware of all the side effects of these prescribed medications. He was taking the pills that the doctor prescribed him. People trusted their doctors in the 70s and 60s. You did what your doctor said. You did what your nurse said. You did what the pharmacist said. Yeah? A desperate man. But Dave Hebler talked about him like he was an addict that needed saving. I repeat, Dave Hebler talks about him like he was an addict that needed saving. And he wasn't. He was a sick man that didn't understand that none of the medication was working. He wasn't getting better. He was getting worse. He didn't understand that he'd inherited sickness, genetic sickness that he'd inherited from relatives, whether it be his mum or his grandparents or his father. He didn't know. He just wanted to get better. And in 1977, this book was thrown at him when he's at his sickest. Come on, let's face it, guys. The Ginger Oldham relationship wasn't really working out. And you got Priscilla was also demanding more money for the second divorce settlement, which was still going on. Priscilla had placed a debt on Graceland's because Elvis couldn't afford to pay her. So in the end, it was agreed that he would pay her in installments. So this is all happening in 1977. The greed of Priscilla. Now, Priscilla tries to tell us that her and Elvis were close till the end. I just don't believe it. I think Priscilla was demanding more money. In fact, we know she was. We've proved it. She was arguing with Elvis about how oftenly Elvis could see Lisa, because we know that Elvis wanted to be with Lisa as oftenly as possible. Priscilla wasn't making that easy. I think one of the last conversations Priscilla ever had with Elvis was an argument, but that's just my opinion. Priscilla says she spoke to Elvis 2 days before he passed. They were probably arguing about the divorce settlement and about Lisa. I don't believe that Elvis and Priscilla were really close at the end, that they were better apart. I don't believe it. I think that they argued a lot behind the scenes about Lisa, about money. Priscilla was always trying to get more and more money, the more better. The second divorce settlement that she was not entitled to, that she promised she would never go back for a second divorce settlement. She broke her promise, told a bunch of lies, accused Elvis of hiding his assets, his income, and fraud, so that a judge would allow her to go for a second divorce settlement that she promised she would never do. Also, she was never supposed to use the name Presley. I think it was a verbal agreement that she would never use the name Presley. So guys, 1977, he's got his ex-wife after him for money. He just wants to see Lisa. He's got his 3 bodyguards writing a disgusting book about him, a betrayal, and a complicated relationship with Ginger Oldham, and he's very, very sick. And Dave Hebler's excuse is to say, we were trying to get him off drugs, we were trying to help him. Sorry, I just don't fall for it. Dave, you wanted to make money. You were angry and bitter, and this was revenge. And you should never have wrote that book. You don't write a book about your mate, your friends, under any circumstances. I lost my best friend a year ago. I would never write a book about him. Never. And we had our differences. So that's just my opinion, guys.
We failed. Because Elvis
I
didn't
think I'm going to rewind that little bit, guys.
It took a little while. I'm not sure how long it was, but we talked about it, and and the reason for the firing was because we interfered with, the people who were bringing in the drugs, right? And they went whining and crying to Elvis, about how we bullied them and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, we did, and we failed. Didn't work. So then we decided that we would try one more time.
Here we go, guys. Let's listen to this.
And go public.
Thanks,
The thinking
Deborah.
our thinking being, is if we went public, he wouldn't be able to ignore it. And maybe, just maybe, he would realize what he was doing, not only to himself, but everybody around him, and seek out the kind of professional help that he actually needed to have.
See, this is just such bullshit. He was getting professional help. Dr. Nick, there's many people that say that Dr. Nick was one of the few doctors that actually was trying to reduce the amount of medication Elvis was getting. Dr. Nick made it his life's mission to try and help Elvis. Now, don't get me wrong. Dr. Nick also made a lot of mistakes. Elvis had sought out help. He had full-time nurses. Elvis was trying to sort himself out. So when this guy here says, seek out professional help, what does he mean? Dave, when you say seek out professional help, what do you mean? He was seeing his doctor every day. He lived with his doctor. He had nurses, full-time nurses. That is professional help. So I don't understand what you're saying, unless you're trying to give the impression that he was a strung-out drug addict. Elvis was not a strung-out drug addict, but that is the portrayal you put across. Now, yes, right at the end, he was even more, he needed these prescribed pills even more, because yes, he probably was addicted. But everyone's addicted to their medication, aren't they? Everyone's addicted to their painkillers eventually.
We failed. Because Elvis didn't think, he didn't believe that he had a problem that he couldn't control. But nobody can control drugs. Right.
See, do you hear that? Nobody could control drugs. Nobody could control drugs. He's doing it then. He's using the drugs word. This is where you've gone wrong, Dave. If you ever watch my show, this is where you've gone wrong. You say nobody could control drugs. You're calling it drugs, and you wonder why the fans are upset with you. Yeah, I know about Denise. I know about the loan. Thank you for that, Denise. I'm not saying Dr. Nick didn't make mistakes. Dr. Nick made some big mistakes. I'm not a big Dr. Nick fan. I'm just saying. But Dave Hebler now is saying, he had to control the drugs. He couldn't control the drugs, blah, blah, blah. He's talking about Elvis like Elvis was a strung-out druggie that wanted to get high and stoned and off his face. So far from the truth. He was a very, very sick man who had sought out professional help and had tried to help fix himself. So Dave, stop talking about Elvis like he was a druggie. He was a sick man on medication. Yes, he may have been overtaking it. No one really knew what to give Elvis. He was in so much discomfort and pain and so unwell. Obviously, we know about the twisted colon, the megacolon with heart issues, lung issues, breathing issues, glaucoma. There was just so many things. Yeah? So, you're getting it wrong, Dave. You're getting it wrong. And this is a recent interview. So I'm disappointed that David speaks about Elvis in this way, because you're sort of verifying, oh, he's a druggie. He's a druggie. We had to help him.
Two questions I wanted to ask you is, did Red and Sonny, did they approach you to bring you into the group, or were you all three together on this idea right from the start? How did that work out?
No, we were together right from the start because we were fired. We were the three that were fired.
So then that leads me to the next question is that, so would you agree that initially, maybe not in the middle and maybe not in the end, would you agree that initially this was anger, that it was, let's make him pay for this?
Guys, great question. Will you admit this was anger? Let's make him pay for this.
Was there any of that? Because I think fans.
No, we never. No. We didn't want him to pay for anything. We were angry.
Remember, see, he is actually getting angry now. Will you admit something? And then he's like, no, we wasn't going to make him pay for anything. You get it, guys? This is an angry person. Now, I'm trying to be fair, but he's digging his own hole. Let's go back a little bit and let's listen again.
Because Elvis didn't think, he didn't believe that he had a problem that he couldn't control. But nobody can control drugs.
Right. Two questions I wanted to ask you.
Right, here goes, guys. Let's really listen to this.
Did Red and Sonny, did they approach you to bring you into the group, or were you all three together on this idea right from the start? How did that work out?
No, we were together right from the start because we were fired. We were the three that were fired.
Right. So then that leads me to the next question is that, so would you agree that initially, maybe not in the middle and maybe not in the end, would you agree that initially this was anger, that it was, let's make him pay for this?
Good
was there any of
question.
that? Because I think fans.
No, we never. No.
Here we go.
We didn't want him to pay for anything. We were angry, of course, certainly, but we didn't want to hurt him.
And I think that's where the fans. I think that's.
Obviously, he gets angry there. When he does that, he's... But we didn't want to hurt him. What is that? We didn't want to hurt him. Come on, guys. We didn't want to hurt him. What are you talking about? You called him a druggie. You told the world that he was a druggie. You put it in a book that was sensationalized and put in every tabloid in the world. Every country in the world, many TV news clips around the world, many magazines. We didn't want to hurt him. Come on, Dave. We didn't want to hurt him. You can't mean that. You can't mean that. Right. Yeah, so Denise says garbage. He is very angry. Emily says the Three Stooges. Lorna says lies, lies, lies. Elvis even paid for all the medical care as well. Yeah, we know that. Elvis paid for everything. Teresa, all lies. Tony, it's really sad. The drugs, Debbie, the drugs keep being brought up. It's like a broken, worn out record. Yes, because it wasn't drugs. It was prescribed medication to fix a very unwell man that couldn't sleep. A very, very desperately sick man. Elvis was sick. Come on. Why doesn't the world know this? Why doesn't the people around the world that are non-Elvis fans know how sick Elvis was? Why does the people around the world that are non-Elvis fans think Elvis was a drug addict? Why do they think that? This is why we are called Defending Elvis Presley. Because we're trying to show the world the truth. Elvis was sick. He took medication because he was sick, in pain and discomfort. He wanted to soothe his pain. But instead, the world, the non-Elvis fans, choose to believe that he was shooting up drugs. It's so far from the truth. This is why we are called Defending Elvis Presley. Anybody that tells me, well, why do you defend Elvis Presley? This is why. A load of lies. A load of lies. Right, so Deborah says some of the Memphis Mafia were taking street drugs. I don't actually know which ones. I think Sonny was one. I don't know about Dave. I won't speak for him because I don't know. So, Kate, a betrayal from people who supposed to have loved and cared about Elvis. So true. You were supposed to have loved and cared for him, guys. Instead, you trashed his reputation, his image, in the long run, his legacy. But also, you imagine how you made Elvis feel. Imagine how Elvis felt when you guys had made this decision. Some of you try and blame the author. Was it Steve Dunleavy? That he sensationalized it. But of course he was going to sensationalize it. He's writing a book that he wants to sell around the world and make millions of dollars so that you guys can get more commission. So whether he sensationalized it or not, shouldn't have written the book. Should not have written the book. Sandra says it's bullshit. Gene, of course, he was with all that was happening in his declining health. Deborah, I'm sorry. All right, we're talking about... All right, okay, Tony's talking about how her pain has been reduced. We're so happy for Tony, aren't we? Tony. I also believe Elvis Presley was going through depression. Don't we all sometimes, guys? Don't we all have our down times? Gene, thank you, Gene. Elvis was finished with Priscilla. Elvis did not want anything to do with Priscilla. I agree. Now, obviously, there was a link because she was the parent of Lisa. I do think that was important to Elvis. He wanted to make sure that Lisa's mum was okay because he's a decent man. He's a Christian man. He wanted to do the right thing. But relationship-wise, they were finished. They were done with. Remember how horrible and cruel Priscilla was, the way that she left Elvis with Mike Stone. It was disgusting. Secretly seeing him for a year behind Mike Stone's pregnant wife's back, Frances. So, Teresa, there was no reason to write the book. They did not care that Elvis was sick. So true. I agree. Elvis had moved on from Priscilla. So you got Pat and Denise saying that. I agree. I'm just trying to rush through your comments, guys. So Emily, yeah, the 1977 was an awful year for Elvis. It really was. And when you do the research and you understand each month through 76, through 77, it was a tough year for Elvis. Very, very tough year. But through all that, he had started losing weight. He had started getting ready. He was ready for the up-and-coming tour. I've seen the pictures of him in Hawaii with Ginger and a few of the others. And he looked like he was getting better. His face was still puffy. His tummy a bit puffy, but he had lost a lot of weight. His arms were nice and slim. His legs were slim. His shoulders were slim. He was getting ready to come back, guys. I don't think Elvis thought he was going to die. I really don't think Elvis thought he was going to die. Sandra, when you're in pain, you'll do anything, believe me. I know. He was in serious pain. Desperate. So, great comment, Sandra. So, Kate, it's Kate again. What they did to Elvis makes me so... She's obviously swearing. We all feel this way. We all feel so upset. It's about bitterness and making money. This is Kate. And I believe that he was the instigator. He's not sorry. Why should anyone else be? I try to be forgiving and kind and caring person. But what they did was too much. I get it, guys. What they did was too much. Thank you, Kate. Definitely, Pat. Elvis was under a lot of stress. Emily, Elvis paid for everything. These men were very ungrateful. That's a perfect word, Emily. Very ungrateful. And Emily, thank you for the posts you've been sending me. I have been seeing your posts. Thank you. I have respect for my elders, but if you're not kind on the inside, you are not nice on the outside. Well, that is so true. That is so true. So the more I listen to this, the worse it gets, unfortunately. So this is probably the climax moment. It's okay, Emily. I believe that he's declining health and all the stress that Prissy and the lean. Yes, we know about Priscilla was attacking Elvis for a massive amount of money. They say that forced him to sell his recording rights pre-1973. She even wanted a percentage of his royalties. She wanted massive spousal payments. She was cunning and greedy with her high-powered lawyers, attacking for more money. A second divorce settlement that she was not entitled to. So greedy. Priscilla showed pure greed in the second divorce settlement. Did not care that he was sick, and she must have known he was sick because she would have seen him. She would have heard him on the phone. She knew he was sick, but it didn't matter. All that mattered to her was getting more money, even almost becoming a part owner of Graceland because of this debt that was placed on Graceland so that Elvis could guarantee paying Priscilla in installments because he didn't have the money to pay her. The reason Elvis had run out of money when he died was because Priscilla had taken it all. I repeat, the reason Elvis had run out of money after he had passed was because Priscilla had it all. Did the public know this? Did the public know that Priscilla is a big part of the reason why Elvis had run out of money? I don't think the public know. This is why we're called Defending Elvis. He has no remorse, nothing. He doesn't care that they made Elvis's last days on earth his worst between them and Priscilla, and my heart aches for Elvis. That's Kate. Beautiful comment, Kate, as usual. Pat, I think the book and Priscilla's crap put so much stress on Elvis, in my opinion. That's why he passed away. It would have had an effect, wouldn't it, Pat? There's there's many reasons why Elvis died, but it wouldn't have helped, would it? Deborah, she took it all from Elvis. She rinsed him. So let's play just a few minutes more, and then we're definitely going to come back for a part 2. I also want to do, you know that I posted on our YouTube channels, on here and on the other one, Elvis Presley Fan on Keto. Please go over and subscribe to that because we're going to go between the two channels. Elvis Presley Fan on Keto. Look it up on YouTube. Please subscribe. But on the other one, I want to go through this Vernon Presley's news footage when Vernon died in 79. There's some important bits in that prove that Priscilla is lying about saving Graceland, about that it was her idea to open the museum and that she saved it. We've got proof in these news clips that it was already happening. Memphis City were already on it, and that the plans had already been drawn up for the museum. And so this is in the Vernon Presley post that I posted this morning. I've posted it on both channels. So I want to go through that. But we've still got more to go through here, haven't we? Can anyone see? Right, Deborah, I hope you can see the comments on Stefan's live tomorrow night. Because no one saw it. Yeah, I've noticed Stefan doesn't turn his comments on. I'm going to have to tell him. The way you see in the comments, you have to turn, when you go live, you have to turn on the little save comments thing. So I'll try and tell Stefan to turn on his comments, okay? So thanks for that, Pat. Kate, so true. We do love Elvis. No one is perfect, but he had so many redeeming qualities, more than the average person. Yes. And Emily, and I wish the world knew that. The more and more that we do together as Defending Elvis, as Team Elvis, the more we realize just how amazing Elvis was. Yeah. I'll just play a couple more minutes, then we're going to have to go, guys.
Where a lot of the fans thought that was the purpose of the
It is not the purpose.
Right.
You know, go ahead.
Well, the next question I want to ask you is, was there ever any thought given to...
right, guys, I don't want to...
if we went public...
I don't want to go on to the next bit. I'm going to play this section that we've just listened to. It's only a couple of minutes. and then we're going to have to go. Okay, guys?
He wouldn't be able to ignore it. And maybe, just maybe, he would realize what he was doing, not only to himself, but everybody around him, and seek out the kind of professional help that he actually needed to have. We failed. Because Elvis didn't
Such
think,
bullshit.
he didn't believe that he had a problem that he couldn't control. But nobody can control drugs.
Right. Two questions I
Wasn't
wanted
drugs.
to ask you is, did Red and Sonny, did they approach you to bring you into the group, or were you all three together on this idea right from the start? How did that work out?
No, we were together right from the start because we were fired. We were the three that were fired.
So then
So that tells me they were all in on this book. They all decided to do this book together. They were all angry and bitter and revengeful and greedy for money.
leads me to the next question is that, so would you agree that initially, maybe not in the middle and maybe not in the end, would you agree that initially this was anger, that it was, let's make him pay for this? Was there any of that? Because I think fans,
No. We didn't want him to pay
He's
for
angry.
anything. We were angry, of course, certainly. But we didn't want to hurt him.
and I think that's where the fans,
You did
I
hurt
think that's where a lot of the fans thought that was the purpose of the
It is not the purpose.
Right.
Such rubbish.
Go ahead.
Well, the next question I want to ask you is, was there ever any thought given to a more positive approach? Like, in other words, not bring, and we'll get into, you had said some things had been added to what you guys had said, and I want to talk to you about that in just a minute, but was there ever any thought of, why don't we put Elvis's best side, put in the book that we love the guy, we respect the guy, and we want to give you all the good stuff, that we want to give you all the good stories.
We did, sir. We didn't write that damn book. Again, let me say that again. We did not write that book.
Yeah,
Steve, let me finish. Steve Dunleavy and the publishers who he worked for wrote that book, and they wrote it from the perspective of creating a book that was going to be so sensational it would sell billions of copies. And in that context, they were correct. However, what really happened is that Red and Sonny and I sat in a hotel room in Hollywood, California for 30 days and told stories. 95% of those stories were good stories. They were fun stories about the good times that we had, the jokes we played out on others, the crazy things that fans did. That was 95% of it. And when we saw the final product, when it was finally, the final document, was when it was already published. And that's the first time we read it, and none of what we said was in there. None of it. It was all this negative stuff. So now we have to deal, with a world of hurt falling on our heads. How would you like to receive 40,000 hate letters?
I wouldn't.
I didn't like it either.
Right, I wouldn't. But here's a question I want to ask you. What? And my goal was to not.
Wait a minute. First off, let me apologize for being emotional.
Right. No, that's fine. That's what we're having a conversation. So
Okay.
What I wanted to do is I wanted to give, and my goal was not to upset you. My goal is I'm trying to ask questions you're telling me from the side of the.
Guys, I mean, that section, whoa, that section. He really does try and put the blame on the fact that Steve Dunleavy and the publishers completely twisted the book and sensationalized it and made it a lot worse than it was, didn't talk about the good things enough, made a bigger thing of the negative things. And that probably did happen. But it doesn't matter, does it? Because Red, Sonny and Dave got together for 30 days in a hotel, all expenses paid, yeah? Treated like royalty, so that the publishers could make millions. Obviously, they made their money. I don't know what they made each. Was it $30,000 each? But they just should never have happened. Dave, this is my answer to you. You've explained that you feel that you were ripped off by the publishers, and the way Steve Dunleavy sensationalized the book. Almost conned, so that a book would be created that sold millions, you say billions, millions of copies. Okay? But it never would have happened if you didn't have this idea to create the book, Elvis. What happened? It would never have happened if you and Sonny and Red had not done it. We can blame the publishers. We can blame Steve Dunleavy. I believe you that they sensationalized it. I believe that they kept out many of the good things that you spoke about in those 30 days in the hotel. But you should never have done it, because it's basic friendship rules. You don't betray your friends. I don't care if you're a millionaire or if you are on £10 a week wages. You don't betray your friends, especially you reap what you sow, especially if that friend was so good to you. Come on, Dave Hebler. You know how good Elvis was to you. You know how good he was to Red and to Sonny and to all the other guys and to the people that work for him. Everybody milked Elvis. Elvis didn't mind. Elvis loved giving. Elvis didn't even want his money. He loved to give it away. You know how good Elvis was. So what if he had a temper? So what? Imagine the pressure that Elvis was under, being Elvis. Trying to blame you get angry here with the interviewer. Yeah. This is the most awkward part of the interview for me. I can see that he's actually quite, oh my God, what's happening here? A great interviewer. Brilliant interview. Thank you so much. But you are angry. Watch your own. What, Dave, watch this back yourself. Now, Dave, you're going to know who I am because Stefan is inviting me onto his show. Artists on Record on YouTube. You're going to know who I am. So there's a good chance you're going to watch this. Now, you're basically saying, you've given us all the reasons why you did the book. Unfairly dismissed, trying to stop Elvis being a druggie, and that you had no money to feed your families, which is bullshit. Yeah? So my point is, then you then go on to blame. Let me just turn down this a minute. Let's make sure you guys can see me. Actually, right, I still zoomed in on me now. Oh, that's so funny. You then go on to blame. Sorry about the lack of technical problems here. All the too many. You then go on to blame everything on the publisher and Steve Dunleavy and whoever else was involved in that book, right? Come on. You guys got together and chose to write the book and damage Elvis and humiliate Elvis, and for money, for anger, for greed, for bitterness. You didn't do it to help him. It's bullshit. I'm not saying that okay, maybe you would like to have seen him get help. Yeah, because maybe he was over-prescribed. But that wasn't your reason. Your reason that you were angry that he'd sacked you. Yeah? To accuse Elvis of saying that because he'd sacked you, you couldn't feed your families is just ridiculous. It's just bullshit. The way you get angry with the interviewer, it's not very nice. I actually find it quite uncomfortable to watch. The fans want you to say sorry. The fans want you to say sorry. Come on. I say this to you, Dave. The fans want you to show regrets, admit wrongdoing. Same goes for Mike Stone. That's a completely different story. The fans want you to say sorry. I don't think the fans are going to forgive you, but I think what they may do is if you show regret and say sorry, they may just cut you a break. Cut you a break. Because that interview, if you watch the last 5 minutes of this part of the interview, let me just see where we are on it. We are 22 minutes into the interview, Dave. You watch the last 5 minutes properly. You imagine you're an Elvis fan and you watch that. You don't look good. You don't look good. You look angry and bitter. You're calling Elvis a druggie. You're saying that he wanted that Elvis, because of Elvis, you couldn't feed your families. You're saying there's no mention of the fact that Elvis was chronically sick. You're passing blame on to Steve Dunleavy and the publishers. It's not good enough. If you and Sonny and Red didn't make the decision to write the book, none of this would have happened. You would have not had 47 years of hate. You mentioned 40,000 letters from fans because of what you did, you and Sonny and Red. It was your actions. I find you very stubborn. Now, you're a human being like us. You have feelings. You've been hurt. But what you are not doing is showing regret and saying sorry, which is what you need to do. Now, I like to think that as you get older, I definitely have done it in my life. As you get older, you look back on your life and you say, sorry, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that. That was a mistake. That was a mistake. You don't blame. You're playing the blame game. You're doing, it's the Steve's fault. It's the publisher's fault. We didn't know what was happening. It's all blame, 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 blame. No admitting responsibility. No taking responsibility for the wrongdoing of you three guys getting together and writing that book. Come on, you were minor celebrities because of it. And all three of you spent the rest of your lives making money off Elvis's name. You've done very well from Elvis. You still are now, even now, you benefit from being someone who once worked for Elvis, even though you did betray him. This is a betrayal of Elvis. This is. His friends betrayed him. It's even worse with Sonny and Red because they knew him way back, especially Red. So anyway, I hope, I have to go now. Sorry, guys. We're going to do a part 2, but I want to jump over to a different topic. Part 2 will be on the other channel, Elvis Presley Fan on Keto. It'll be a different topic. But my point is this. I think we've all come together here and it's so bloody obvious that you're out of order. You're out of order. You need to show regret. I don't hate you, Dave. I don't hate you, but you need to show regret and say sorry to the fans at the very least. To Elvis's family. To Riley and Finley and Harper, his grandkids. Because you hurt him. You hurt Elvis. Elvis, what happened? I'll tell you what happened. 3 of his friends betrayed him. That's what happened. Yeah? So, we are here to defend Elvis against things like this. This is just one of many things. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to have to go. Kate says, probably enraged because Elvis fans stayed loyal when they couldn't. We went against them, not Elvis. We love Elvis. Thank you, Kate. Sandra, repent while you can. Yes. It's not too late to say sorry. Thank you, Emily. Oh, we've had a brilliant time, quite a very serious topic. But I've been saying all week, we are going to get back to defending. Yeah. Now, I won't do defending on the other channel. The other channel is light-hearted stuff. It's book reading, and obviously we're talking about people's health and the diet, the carnivore diet, the keto diet. So the defending will be done here at Defending Elvis Presley. So the next live is going to be on the other channel. I don't know what time it's going to be. I'm not sure. Probably in about 3 hours time. I hope you've enjoyed it, guys. Their reason is because they were going to lose their great lifestyles Elvis gave them on a daily basis. No appreciation, a bitter, angry man. Kate, I have to agree with you. Teresa, thank you for all your lovely comments. All of you guys, you've been great on this. Emily, Tony, Pat, Denise, all of you have been great. Sandra, I'm just going through the names. Hi, Ronnie. Just thank you. We've had a very serious discussion. Carolyn, Deborah, Josie. Hi, Josie. You've been very quiet today. Just all of you guys, and anyone who's waking up later. If you're just waking up, good morning. Hope you had a good night's sleep. Of course, please buy us a coffee. If you like what I'm doing, show me some appreciation, because I tell you what, I put a lot of work into this. So it does make me feel appreciated. Or hit the super thank you, or hit the thanks button. Now, we are still trying to build up the membership. It's only $1 a month, guys. It's nothing. $1 a month. Pennies. And we're trying to get it to 100. We're not there yet, guys. So I do appreciate it if any of you become members. And if you do buy me a coffee, thank you, because I love it. Take care, guys. I'm out of here. I reckon 2 to 3 hours. We're going to do another live, and we're going to cover the Vernon Presley documentary that I found, all the news clips of the day Vernon Presley died. And in that, there's some very interesting facts that show that Priscilla did not save Graceland, that Priscilla did not come up with the idea to open it as a museum. And there's a very interesting section in that interview with Dee Stanley. Dee Stanley. So that's going to be our next one. I definitely want to do the next live over at Elvis Presley Fan on Keto. So, guys, that's it. We're out of here. Bye, everyone. So I'm just reading your comments. Thanks, Lorna. Thanks, Pat. Thanks, Carolyn and Josie and Denise. We've had a nice time. How long have we been on it, guys? It's not letting me know how long we've been on. How long have we been on for? Can someone tell me? I'm interested to know, because we're on a different system. It doesn't show me. I'm just trying to see it here if it lets me see how long we've been on, but it doesn't. I think we've had around 30 people watching. Does that? I think. I can't see. It doesn't tell me, which is annoying. I reckon we've been on for a long time. How long have we been on, guys? It doesn't tell me. It should tell me, shouldn't it? But bye, Joanne. Bye, Josie. I reckon we've been on for an hour and a half. Does that make sense? Bye, Tony. 2 hours. Whoa, 2 hours. 2 hours. How did we spend 2 hours together? How? I've loved it. I've loved drowning myself in tea and coffee for 2 hours with Team Elvis. Yeah, about 30 people, wasn't it? So, a lot of you are asleep, aren't you? A lot of you are like in America asleep. Obviously, we get you all over the world. We get you Australia, Canada, England, all over the world. We get you guys. Yeah, it's been fun. I'll be back. Okay, guys, I've loved it. I've loved being with you guys. Remember, tomorrow night, 10 p.m. UK time, we're going to be on Stefan's show on YouTube. I forgot his name now. Artist on Record on YouTube. Stefan at Artist on Record on YouTube. And please subscribe to the Diet channel. It's important, guys, because let me just show you it. It's very important you subscribe to this, because we are going to be going between the two channels. The Diet channel, Elvis Presley Fan on Keto, is our sister channel. It's okay. Please subscribe. Elvis Presley Fan on Keto. You don't have to do the diet. Anyone that messages me, you don't have to do the diets. You don't have to. This is an Elvis Presley Fan channel where we help people's health, as well as do light-hearted Elvis stuff, okay? So please subscribe. Very important. And all right, we're going now anyway, Carolyn, so it doesn't matter. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care.